Good morning, families. It's good to see you today. Today's miracle story will be found in the book of Mark, chapter 7, verses 31 to 37. This is the miracle of Jesus healing the deaf and the mute man. Now, someone who is deaf means that they can't hear. They don't have any hearing. They can't hear voices. They can't hear music. They can't even hear their own voice. And so oftentimes when you can't hear your own voice when you're born that way, you also don't speak because you don't know how the sounds and the letters form. So this man couldn't hear and he couldn't talk. We're going to see how Jesus changed his life and healed him. Jesus traveled in Syrian Phoenicia from Tyre to Sidon, then south to the Decapolis, a region of 10 cities. A deaf man who was also mute was brought to Jesus. Everyone begged Jesus to lay his hands on the man and heal him. Jesus led the man away from the crowd. Then he put his fingers into the man's ears. Jesus spat on his hand and touched the man's tongue with the spit. Then, looking up to heaven, he sighed and commanded, "Be opened." Instantly, the man could hear perfectly and speak perfectly. Jesus told the crowd not to spread the news, but the more he said not to, the more they wanted to, for they were overcome with amazement. They kept saying, "Everything he does is good. He even makes the deaf man hear and the mute speak." I love what the people say at the end of this miracle. Once Jesus healed that man who is deaf and mute, the people said, "Wow, everything he does is good." And I love that statement because they were so amazed at this miracle and they just believed God that he was a God of great and wonderful things. So they said, "Everything he does is good." And I want to help us remember that today. See, if you weren't able to speak or if you weren't able to hear, you would talk to people by using your hands, and you would use something called sign language. That's when you would spell out letters or say words using your hands. And so I'm going to teach you how to say this phrase, "Everything he does is good," in sign language. So for the word everything, you start with 2 thumbs up, but turn your hands facing the same direction. So your thumbs are on either the right or the left side and your fingers are facing this way. So instead of going like this, turn your hands so they're both the same way. And then you're going to put one on top of the other and just kind of slide it down the back of your thumb. Just kind of slide it down the back of your thumb. And then hit your hand and like ripple it off like this. That's everything. So everything is 2 thumbs up, slide down, and just kind of tap a couple times. Everything. Now for he does, it's like you're grabbing a pole or a fence and you're kind of like cupping it like this. So just slide your hands back and forth like this. You could go the same way. He does. This is the action of doing. So he does. Everything he does. Everything he does is good. So for that, we're just going to put one finger up, is, and then for good, take your fingers kind of towards your mouth, and then quickly just move it straight out. This is good. So is good. Is good. So again, everything he does is good. Ready? Everything he does is good. Yeah, make sure this is nice and quick from your mouth straight out. Let's try it all together one more time. Everything he does is good. Excellent. Let's try it one more time. Ready? Everything he does is good. Wonderful. I pray that you'll remember this today and believe it in your heart.